is a group that recorded a #1 Motown anthem called Shotgun. They've toured all over the world, one of the most electrifying acts of all time. For the first time at the White Swan Ballroom, give it up for Junior Walker's All-Star Band! And management here at the White Swan. Give them a round of applause, Mr. Chuck Stroud. Come on, y'all.
Yeah, it's not a lot left. You know, so many of the legends are dying off slowly but surely.
How do they keep their energy to go out and at least perform?
For the love of being in front of the audiences and having such great audiences, and the music lives on and on. So the audiences keep regenerating themselves, and our music just goes on, and so we appreciate the audiences, and that gives us all of the gumption and energy to come back and do it over. My sister she was one of the beginning early on staff writers with Motown, and she was highly involved in the early days, and Berry Gordy and his brother used to come to my home. And then right behind that, I found out that Eddie Kendricks and Paul Williams from the Temptations had grew up with my uncles in Alabama, and they all came up to Detroit together. And so one day they came to my house, and so it was like just a small gathering at my house, sitting with my parents, and I had a band playing in the basement, and Eddie Kendricks and Paul came downstairs, and they liked what they heard, and so they asked, could I do some things with the Temptations. They wanted to groom some younger musicians and things of that nature. So I ended up getting involved with them, and so I ended up going and doing recording at Motown, and thus I ran into Junior Walker, and the whole ball of wax just started rolling.
Did Junior Walker have a big reputation at that time, or was he still growing up?
No, he didn't have a big, you know, he had the big hit with Shotgun, and that was big, and that set him on motion. He was climbing the stairs at that time, but he wasn't as big, as strong as the Temptations or the Four Tops at that time in the latter 60s, but he was very reputable. He had a good reputation, and he was able to work pretty steady.
What was he like? Because obviously he passed away in 1995 or so.
Yes.
What was he like?
Junior was a real down-to-earth guy, very down-to-earth guy. It would never be anything unusual to find Junior out on the street somewhere up under somebody's hood of their car. He was an excellent mechanic, excellent. And he would always just find somebody that had a problem with their cars, and he would literally have some overalls in his car, where he would take off his stage clothes and put on overalls and get up under somebody's hood and lay in the street because he enjoyed working on cars. You know, he's a real down-to-earth guy, real down.
Now, he kind of accumulated this group. Was that his group, or was he added to a group that became sort of his saxophone?
Well, it was kind of a combination. It was kind of a combination. He originally had a group that he was with called the Jumping Jacks. Now, that wasn't his group, but he was the lead of the group. He was the lead of the group, and he kind of, you know, everybody started going off to service. Everybody got drafted and was going to military, and then he went and came back and just decided to form his own group, and that's where Junior Walker and the All-Stars began.
When did you kind of catch up with that group?
Oh, I started working with Junior Walker probably in '68 or '69, and kind of just floated in and out of each other's lives from that time on, just different places, different times, as needed, I would say. And so we worked together considerably, and you know, it was had a great time.
No, what do you, just for the camera here, what do you play?
I'm the drummer as well as musical director, and I guess myself and one more guy that's named Ackley King, who's not here with us tonight because he's ill. We're the last of the original members of Junior Walker's All-Star Band, and Ackley, he carries the flag, and he pulled me into it officially to make me stay so that I wouldn't drift back and forth with everybody else.
Yeah. Do you feel that's a responsibility, that you being one of the guys near the beginning, 1968, you actually had a connection with Junior Walker? Do you feel a responsibility there?
Oh yes, I feel that it's very important for us to carry on the legacy and to let younger people know that Junior Walker and the All-Stars was a true act, some of the pioneers of this music. And we know we carried a lot of the Motown sound, and we crossed a lot of borders over the water, England, Europe, all South Africa, Australia. We've been blessed to see all the different corners of the world.
Well, I'm just so thrilled you're here at the White Swan today, and then Chuck Stroud he's beside himself that he's got Junior Walker and the All-Stars here.
Yes, you know, Chuck and I have been talking for the last 4 or 5 years, and we just couldn't put anything together for us to come through here, but we're glad to be here, and we're glad that we were able to work things out with Chuck to finally come in here and give one good round, and we're going to have a great time tonight. Looking forward.
We're thrilled. Now, as you reflect back on, having done Junior Walker's All-Star and as the program director, what is it that you end up with? What's the song that's going to knock the socks off everybody? Shotgun?
That's it. Ultimately, Shotgun is the last of the Mohicans. That's what people like to go home with that in their mind. And as they walk out, they'll all be singing, Shotgun! That's exactly it, yes.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much. I know you're busy, but I just appreciate so much you spending time.
Absolutely, no problem. Thank you for having the little interview with me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Round two.
Round two, and we're here to talk a little bit about the fact that you played with, even Shotgun was part of James Jameson and others.
James Jameson, Earl Van Dyke, Eddie Willis, Earl Van Dyke, Robert White, all of the great members from the Funk Brothers.
Now, how did it actually work? Were given a score to score out and then match up?
No, a lot of it they were given ideas, basic ideas, and a lot of the writers relied on their musical ability to further that idea and put it together and make it happen. That's why a lot of the credit that wasn't given and came around in later years, and credit was given to the Funk Brothers because they carried a lot of the responsibility of helping to make the Motown sound.
Did you play with them at all?
Yes, I worked with James Jameson, Earl Van Dyke, all of the guys. I had the pleasure of doing sessions with them many times. Pistol Pete was original on most of doing the drum work, and a lot of the sessions they would need 2 drummers, and they would call me in and have me come in and play as a second drummer along with Pistol. And it was a good time, and it was a learning experience. At that time I was 15 years old, and they just took me under their wings and wanted me to know the real side of the music business, and so I got in there.
One final question: what did your mom and dad think of all this?
Well, as I said, all of my uncles down in Alabama, they grew up with Eddie Kendricks and Paul Williams, so they were friends with the Temptations anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and so at first, Barry Gordy came to my home, and he was actually recruiting my sister to do something with him. And my sister was doing a lot of demo work for Diana Ross at that time. And so he couldn't come to terms with my parents to allow my sister to go and do things on the road and work with Motown. So she just ended up being a staff writer, because she didn't have to travel or do anything involved any further than that. Yes.
So your parents were okay with all this?
Yeah, they were okay. You know, they were very supportive.
Wow, thrilling. Thank you so much. Wow.
Hello, White Swan! Hello, White Swan! We are Junior Walker's All-Star Band from the Motor City of Detroit. Come at you live! Oh yeah. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Oh, yes, baby, now. How sweet it is to be loved by you. I hate to shelter someone's arms, and there you were. I need someone to understand my ups and downs, and there you were. With sweet love and devotion, you've been touching my emotion as a woman loves. And thank you, baby, I won't stop. And thank you, baby, it's how sweet it is to be loved by you. Oh, yes, it is, baby, now. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Tears cry every night for you. And these arms, darling, gonna hold you once again. Your hurting's on me, yeah. I can never be free, no, baby. You ain't no promise to me, yeah. Girl, you're broken. Girl, you broke it up. Watch you bring my world to an end. And it's hard, honey. Can I smell and pretend? The hurt is on me, yeah.
Worried about the way the things might have been. Y'all rockin' with me? for Miss Phyllis Parham. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the baby of the group, she too has been all around the world. If you will, put your hands together for Miss Kimmy. Ladies and gentlemen, she's been all around the world. She's been with every temptation. We call her Hot Ice. The reason why we call her Hot Ice, because when I'm so tired. Because when she's hot, she's hot. But when she's cold, she can be cold. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we call her for Junior Walker and the All-Stars. See how many of you might recognize this song.
so much for coming. We've had these 2 or 3 times a year, and everybody always shows up, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, you know, and we appreciate that. Otherwise, we couldn't do it. There've been some tough times where, but most of the time have been great. I mean, you guys really come out and supported us, and all we can do is say thanks. And you want to say anything? No.